Hi, I'm Cheryl Anderson. I'm the Director of Instruction here at the Mike Bender Golf Academy in Lake Mary, Florida. Most people that come to me for a golf lesson have two requests. They either want to hit the ball farther or they want to be more consistent. And the good news is, I tell them, it really only comes down to three things, assuming that you're hitting the ball in the center of the club face. And I'll share with you those three things after I show you how to set up a practice station. You really need to have a station set up when you go to practice to help you to monitor the direction your divots are going in and also the curvature on the ball. And all we do down here at the Academy is we have one club on the ground or an alignment stick pointing slightly right of the target, and then another one parallel. And obviously you're just trying to get your body parallel to those sticks. And we also put out a start pole about 10 paces in front of the ball that we're hitting. Make sure that that pole is directly in line with the ball you're hitting and your intended target. Perfect. My goal is to try and start the ball a little right of the pole and have a soft little draw back, never crossing the left of that start line. Okay, so getting into those three things, the first one is understanding your swing plane. And I'm just going to use this hula hoop to help me demonstrate that the path of your club should be approaching the ball from the inside. You see, in golf we're setting up with the shaft laying on an inclined plane. And because of that, your club should approach the ball, like I said, slightly from inside the ball line. Therefore, if I take this impact bag, and I put a broken shaft behind it and I make a golf swing, guess which direction this bag should move? Let's see if you're right. If you guessed right, you were right. That bag should move slightly to the right, and if it doesn't, you're like most golfers that I see. It goes to the left because you come over the top or out to in too severely with your path. So, to combat that error, simply get your setup a little better. Make sure that when you get set up, that your left ear is slightly behind the ball. And also make sure that your spine is tilting slightly away from you. You want to get into the position like you're going to throw a ball. The next thing you need to do is learn how to make a better turn. So if you can imagine a big wall behind me, put your butt right up against the wall and your heels will be about 4 inches away from the wall. You're going to practice simply turning back and touching the wall. Make sure your head doesn't move. Don't try to cheat it. Just simply turn back, try and touch the wall with your arms. And you're going to see and feel how much easier it is for your arms to swing down from the inside. The next thing that affects consistency and distance is how your club face comes into the ball. I know you all know we want to return that club face to square, yet most of you return it wide open. So, first you need to understand that all your clubs are designed with the grip end built slightly ahead of the club head. And when you get your hand slightly ahead of the club head, look what that does to the club face. It opens it up. Therefore, you need to have a little bit of what we call swiveling happening with your left arm. Some people call it supinating. And a great drill to demonstrate that is to simply hold a ball in your left hand, swing it back, you don't see it, and when you swing it through, you balance it right in the palm of your hand. That's the same motion that's going to happen with your left arm through the shot to help square the club face up. Now, if you're hooking the ball, you don't want to listen to that advice. Do just the opposite. You want to feel like you're keeping the club face wide open through the impact area. Finally, the third thing is impact. It all comes down to impact. So a great teacher named Charlie Sorrell said this once to me. He was the PGA National Teacher of the Year. He said, Cheryl, if your hands are ahead of your zipper, you won't be a flipper. And that's what I want to show you with my favorite training aid here at the Academy that Mike Bender designed. It's called the Impact Station. This demonstrates this point clearly. So as I turn back, I come down from the inside, you're going to notice how my shaft and the club head meet these two blocks at the exact same time, rather than my club head getting to the block first. Okay, now I know you don't have an impact station at home, So what you can do is simply get a water bottle. I saw another great teacher, Ben Doyle, demonstrate this once. Put it up against a wall. I'm just going to use the impact bag for time purposes. Practice delivering your club face squarely into the bottle. Make sure the club is down on the ground, because another important point here is you want to feel pressure, like you're pushing down into the ground. If there's a wall here, the back of my left hand would be flat in the wall. So rehearse that a few times. Get that feeling of what good impact feels like. And then what you want to do next is apply it to a golf shot. So I'm going to want you to make some swings where you hit the ground and stop, holding that impact position as long as you can. Keep your hands ahead of that club head. Here we go. I'm going to set this ball up right in line with my start line. Make sure I get a good tilt in my setup. Turn back, approach that ball from the inside, and apply some pressure into the ground. Boy, you can see, hopefully you can see how wide that divot is. That represents how square my club face was. That divot's also nice and straight, so my path was good. And the divot was deep and ahead of the ball, so the lean on my shaft was good. So next time, remember those three things, and you're going to gain so much more yardage and be more consistent and have a lot more fun playing the game. Boy, I'm pretty pleased with this shot. I'm just off the green in regulation, and I know I can get up and down. I might even chip it in. But I know there's some of you out there that struggle with this shot. You tend to scull it across the green, or you may lay the sod over it and leave the ball short of the green. If that's you, come on over here to this little station I have set up. The biggest difference between good chippers and poor chippers is that the good chippers swing their hands through the ball. They follow through. Where poor chippers tend to stop at the ball and they try to help the ball get in the air by flipping the club head past their hands. So to combat that error, set up this little station. I've got, first of all, 2 alignment clubs pointing towards my target. Another one for my stance line because I want your stance to be slightly open. A couple other quick things in your setup. Make sure you have your weight on your left side, probably 70 to 80%, and get your hands towards the inside of your left thigh. I've also placed one broken shaft about 2 feet towards the target, and the tip of the shaft is in between my stance line and my target line. And that's there as a guide for my hands. I'm trying to get my hands to go all the way through to that shaft. If my club head hits the shaft, that's what the poor chippers do. So you got to keep your hands moving through like this. So if you could keep your hands moving through the shot like I just did, you'll have more up and downs and save your pars.